We're used to kind of professional light installation, which makes every place feel like the mall. On my mark, this is Home Alone.
Yes! Kevin!
My name is Jon Hutman. I'm a movie production designer. I've been designing movies for over 30 years. Today we're going to talk about Chris Columbus's Home Alone. I was not the production designer of this movie. John Muto was the production designer and Eve Cawley was the set decorator. And I think this movie is deceptive. You get so immersed in Kevin's world. I didn't remember that the entire interior of the house is red and green.
I'm living alone!
The first thing you'll notice is the use of wallpaper. In the entryway, there is this pretty strong red and green damask wallpaper. This particular paper normally would be really bold, and I think the fact that there is white trim on the wainscot keeps the wallpaper pattern from overwhelming the architecture. The other wallpapers are in the master bedroom, the living room, and the kitchen. All of those papers have a white background with patterns that are primarily green and red. One of the things I love about the wallpaper in the living room, the pattern on that wallpaper actually has little reeds. And the way they amplify the red and green color palette in these rooms, which initially read as white, is they layer these saturated colors, green and red wallpaper in the entryway, through the living room into what I would call the solarium that is green. The reverse from the living room and sunroom angle looks through the entryway into the dining room, which has deep red walls. So you have this layering of red and green. Pattern solid in the downstairs and the upstairs of the house. They shot this movie in Chicago. It's a brick house with white trim and green shutters. Red, green, white. It is a Christmas house. And one of the things I love about the exterior of this house, during the day, I don't think you're really aware that it's Christmas. When the house really becomes a festive celebration is when the lights come on at night. There's a very slightly homemade organic quality to the way the lights are installed. And not just on this house, throughout the movie. Another thing that I noticed, all of the lights on the McAllister's house are white. And there's a sequence where Kevin is walking through his neighborhood, noticing that everyone else is with their family for Christmas. All of those Christmas lights, including the little Santa's house, has colorful Christmas lights. There is a purity to the decoration and the lights on the McAllister house. If you look at the upstairs hallway, it's got a white wainscot with almost a Kelly green wall color above, and then a red carpet runner, which starts on the staircase, runs you up the stairs and into the hallway. So you have red on the wood floor, white wainscot, and green upper walls. Somehow, when you're in that hallway, the balance of the other colors and the views either into the stairwell or the other rooms make it just quiet enough that it doesn't overwhelm the scene.
Pack my suitcase.
Similarly, in the living room, notice that the stockings on the mantle are primarily white. I would probably expect the stockings on the mantle to be red. The things that you expect to be Christmas are not, and vice versa. The couch in front of the fireplace is this deep, very bluish green. You almost could not notice it. I think the choices are almost consciously subvert your expectations. You start to experience that house almost in a black and white way. What I'll also note that I think keeps the house grounded, it's almost framed by the basement and the attic above. They're kind of like a picture frame. What happens in the attic and the basement is you get a peek behind the scene. And those spaces have a lot of raw wood. The warmth of that wood carries through into the kitchen. So here's what's interesting. You have this rich orangey wood finish on the cabinet, and the countertops, which are tile, are actually blue. There are red curtains on the back door. You could have easily Somebody made the tile on the countertop green and painted the cabinets red, but I think it's the warmth of that wood in the kitchen, the attic, and the basement which ground the house.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
In the master bedroom, there is an enormous king-size bed, which feels like the mattress is somehow jacked up higher than normal. All of the bedding, the sheets, the pillows, and this big puffy comforter are all red. The color choices that they've made are deep, saturated colors. And that red bed anchors and focuses the whole room.
Buzz, I'm going through all your private stuff.
In Buzz's room, those black rugs with the white graphic, all of these sports posters, impossibly high shelves. This room does not feel like it's in the Christmas spirit, but it is. It's got white wallpaper with a very subtle green and red stripe. What I notice is there's this wallpaper border, and I can't tell. It looks like it's got some kind of red sports motif. Even the sport posters on the wall, Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, all of their swag is white and red. These very minute points of red and green in comparison to the rest of the house make it feel a little bit dangerous. And so for Kevin to go into this room, part of the message is that the Christmas magic is not, the force is not as strong in this room.
I'm sorry.
It's too late. Get upstairs.
Do you notice that we never see Kevin's bedroom? I think the way Kevin feels at the beginning of the movie is that there's no place for him in this family. If we were to have seen and understand what his bedroom looks like, he wouldn't feel as stranded. Kevin is fighting to be seen. Home equals battleground. At the end of the story, when he's turned the house into a booby trap, it's a different kind of battleground. What's amazing about the design of the house, it's able to hold both of those versions of a battleground.
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish.
There was a post on X or Twitter this holiday season which identified the green color from the movie. It went viral as phthalo green. What I'm going to tell you is that that pure phthalo green most likely does not exist. Phthalo green might be one of those basic tints more than it tends to be a paint color that you can go into Home Depot or Benjamin Moore and ask for off the shelf.
I made my family disappear.
I don't think I adequately appreciated the level of skill and detail that the art department, starting with the production designer and the set decorator, brought to this movie. It is well observed, well executed. It feels like the architecture of the real house. It feels like the furnishings that belongs to this family in Chicago, in this neighborhood, in this period. People are always critiquing, oh, how could these people afford this big, beautiful home? If the house felt like it had fewer rooms, there would be less room to play the story that happens out. When Kevin does his signature, and there's something about that color, it matches his emotional energy. The production designer and set decorator made choices you maybe feel more than you notice. That's what I think lives on in the culture. The successful marriage of the location, the art direction, and the story that happens there. And here's what I say about production design in movies. I have done my job if you didn't notice the job that I did.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?